Hey everybody, welcome back to the Garage Gym. My name's Curtis, and today we are going to be covering the Achedaway electronic cupper. So the Achedaway electronic cupper, Achedaway is another company that's producing like percussion massagers and other recovery type tools. They did reach out to me and they were like, hey, we have a new electronic cupping device, and I had never tried cupping before. And when they asked if I wanted to potentially do a video on it, I jumped at the opportunity, and here it is. So when you look at the website for the Achedaway cupper, basically what they're saying is it's a multifunctional dynamic cupping massager combining dynamic suction, smart massage, and of course red light therapy, and they put it all into a single device. They claim that it's perfect for professional as well as home use. Now when I got this in, I immediately had to do a whole bunch of research because I have zero experience with cupping. I've never had traditional cupping, whether that was with the flame or with the little suction guns that you can sometimes see. And what I came across was that there are some studies that point to the effectiveness of cupping, but there's really nothing that's definitive like cupping is amazing. It's just something that goes back thousands of years, like ancient Chinese method type stuff. And ultimately, even if it is just the placebo effect that's making it work, that doesn't mean that it's not effective. It just means it's placebo. And placebo, if it works, it works. So honestly, if you enjoy cupping, this might be something that you want to do. When this device arrived, it came in a very attractive looking packaging. It was just like a box, but it was just really well put together. And inside was the Achedaway cupper, the USB-C power cord that you're going to need to charge it. I did take it out of the box and fully charged it once. I have been using this device for more than a month. I've been using it almost every single day, and I have yet to have to recharge the device. So if it dies during this video, I guess that was gonna happen. The actual outside portion is pretty easy to talk through. You end up with this lanyard, and the whole point of the lanyard is that it kind of clips on to the actual cupping lanyard. That way, if you have this thing like on your back or you know, just you're walking around in your garage gym and it falls on the concrete floor, if you have this around your neck or around your arm or you're hanging onto it somehow, at least it won't fall all the way to the floor. I have not drop tested this. I wouldn't recommend drop testing this. It is rubber coated on the outside, but I don't think that's a bumper. I'm pretty sure that's for grip. So there are a couple different parts, like I said, the lanyard, and then the lanyard mechanism as it hooks up to the actual cupper. The cup is a plastic cup that pulls off. And inside you can see where the red light comes out of, as well as the vacuum area. And then here you have a foam like filter type thing, and then the actual cup itself. It does come with 3 extra little foam circle dews. So in the event that you do saturate one of these or it just starts to get nasty, you just pop that out, put a new one in, and you're rocking and rolling. It just threads together like so. And you don't have to do it super tight, just tight enough. Now a couple notes, this is plastic, this is not glass. This is probably good and bad. So my wife is a big essential oils person, and she had applied some essential oils to my shoulder where I had had surgery. And without even thinking about it, I was like, oh, I have this cupper, let me try to throw this on there. And it did cause a small amount of corrosion on the actual cupping, and it might be hard to see in the video, but there's just a small amount. I was able to wipe it off right away when I realized the mistake I had made, but that's not anything new. So essential oils can corrode plastic. There are 2 different types of cupping, 2 major categories of cupping that I've seen. You have dry cupping, which is what this thing will do, and then you have wet cupping. So if I say cupping, and the first image that comes to mind is someone that's like bleeding profusely from their back where they had you know, lanced their welts that they had through the first round of cupping, and then threw the cups back on, and it's like bleeding and getting all the toxins out and everything. That is not what this does. I would highly recommend that you do not wet cup. I don't know what Achedaway would say. I wouldn't recommend it. This thing has a vacuum pump in it. It obviously sucks through here, and then the discharge valve is here, and there's no way to access the internal component. So if you get this thing wet, you get your blood and your gunk and your disgustingness in there, pretty sure you're just kind of SOL. Now as for the actual operation of this, you have the middle button, which is like your power button, and when you press and hold this, it's automatically, so you're automatically gonna hear this thing kick on and start in program 1. Then you have M, which is for mode. You have the little cuppy look and do. This is for the intensity of the suction. And then you have the light bulb down here, and the light bulb down here is whether or not it is going to be using red light therapy. So I'll power it on for you guys so you can hear it. All right, so you have this blue indicator down here. I'm gonna use my hand just for the sake of getting the indications to go. But once you actually get suction, you can see that the blue lights indicate the level of suction that you currently have. You can hear the motor pulsing, and you can see those blue lights basically showing the vacuum level. So this is program number 1. So program number 1 is just kind of like a constant suction in and out. I think it's one of their massage programs. Then you have program 2, which you can hear that. It does like this super slow buildup. So it like builds up to a point, super slow buildup back to the highest point, and then it releases and fires back down. Starts over. 3, which is just kind of like a steady state suction. So it'll like pull, hold, release. Pull, hold, release. Then you have 4, which is, I'm pretty sure this is just like the steady suck. So like if you've ever had traditional cupping, this is probably the closest traditional cupping. I mean, mind you, it does have the red light therapy in there as well. And then you have mode 5, which is my favorite, and it like pulls and then bleeds it down and then pulls again. And then pulls again. You do have the different modes, honestly. I couldn't tell that big of a difference between the different modes. I'm sure that there are some, but I would posit that that's probably more of something for different body locations. So for me, I have like looser flesh, like on my hamstrings. So if I was using this on my hamstrings, I would probably want less suction than if I'm using it on like my shoulder, where there's not much meat for this thing to grab, and you might need to dial that up a little bit to get the same effect. So this thing has an automatic timer built into it. It will eventually just let go of my hand, but if you want to just pause it temporarily, you can just press the button, and it undoes the suction. Now I got a sweet hand hickey. You can also completely power it down and it'll release. If you hit the timer, the actual timer for this, it'll do this countdown thing, and I'll see if I can get that on video for you guys. So applications are pretty endless. I did a bunch of research, and it seems like for the most part, people use this on their back to relieve back pain, over scar tissue to actually relieve scar tissue, and that's what I'm going to show you here in just a second, and over like acupuncture points. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this on setting mode 3, and I'm going to turn up the intensity a little bit because after using this for a little while, I just know. I've never actually cycled the red light therapy on or off either, and just as a note, like I don't know about the effectiveness of red light therapy. It's one of those things that if you believe it, you like strongly believe it, and if you're like me and you're a little bit skeptical, you're just kind of like, okay, well, I'll try it, but I don't necessarily know if I buy it. And again, there's limited studies. All right, so for my shoulder surgery I have a couple different entry points. So there's one. So I'm just going to place this directly over that. And again, since we just paused it, all you have to do is just tap. Now it's automatically going to pull that in. So this is level 2 intensity. And I just wanted to go through the intensity so you could see any potential differences. Here's 3, 4, and 5. This is the highest intensity right here. So you can definitely hear that the motor is sucking out even more than normal. However, in reality, it's really not that much. So I'm just gonna let this go for a little bit because I wanna show you guys what happens when it finally auto powers down. I think it auto powers down as like a safety thing. Obviously, you wouldn't want the sucker do 5,000 sucking on you. You know, if you fall asleep, I guess you wouldn't want this sucking on one point for hours and hours and hours, because it is going to leave a massive welt that will take days and sometimes weeks for it to go away. So on that note, if you get this and you start cupping and you start to get creative on where you place this thing, keep that in mind, because you are gonna end up with a massive circular hickey pretty much wherever you put this thing for an extended period of time. I did want to talk a second on skin types, and probably gonna end up moving this. So different skin types. So my upper arm, I'm not a hairy person, upper body, but my legs are like pretty hairy. Something of note is that you can use like a lotion or like coconut oil or some other product, a very thin coat, in order to lubricate the skin. So I'm gonna move this from my upper body, which again is not hairy, sweet welt, and I'm actually gonna throw it on my leg. All right, so like I said, I am by no means a super hairy individual, but there is leg hair on the lower part. What I find to be my favorite spot on my legs, so beyond coming up my thigh, and I know this is a very sensual shot for all of you fans, I actually really like it right here. Now my knees like naturally just kind of pop. It's not painful, they just kind of naturally pop. And I've noticed that if I place this right here and I run it through a cycle, that my knees will actually stop popping like altogether. It's not forever, obviously, but it probably increases the blood flow in here to a point where my knee joint is a little bit more lubricated. This is consistently a result that I'm getting, so it's not like just a fluke that happened one time. And it's just one of those kind of like nice things. So if I'm sitting down at the end of the day and I want to watch some TV, I can just turn this thing on, throw it here. It provides me a little bit of relief. So right now, one unit costs $170 from the Achedaway website. And if you buy two, you can actually get 2 units for $299. So here you can hear it powering down. So now as a note, like even when it powers down, it's still gonna hold that suction. So I'm just gonna let it naturally fall off my leg, but eventually the suction just kind of like gets relieved. Now if you want to, you can kind of expedite it and just kind of pull the skin back. It'll pop right off. But you get a little timer, you get some noise, and it just gives you a heads up that it's gonna fall off. I would highly recommend the use of the lanyard. The only place I've had an issue getting this thing to really hook up has been my upper back, and I just wanted to show you guys what I'm talking about when I have that issue. I said I would never take my shirt off on camera. So again, power it up. Okay, so of course this time, the one time I do it on camera, it goes just fine, but you could hear the couple where it like really wasn't getting a suction. But that's pretty much it for the video. So what I covered was one price, again, 170 bucks for one, 300 for two. They do arrive pretty quickly after you order as well. Two, just kind of like how it functions. So I showed you guys how the cup comes on and off. I do think that the cup is something that they should provide as an a la carte type item. So if you wanted to purchase multiple cups, you could. Right now, you just have to go direct to the company and they will get you a replacement cup if you order one. Talked about all the different functions. So again, you get 5 modes, 5 levels for suction, plus your red light therapy is either on or off. And again, it's a really cool piece of equipment. Now, do I think it's worth it to you, the garage gym owner? Honestly, I feel like that depends on how much money you want to invest in your recovery. So if you believe in cupping and you have the money, I mean, why not? It is small, it is very portable. But overall, I think it's cool. I think that if you value recovery, or maybe you are a physical therapist that already uses cupping, this might be something that you want to buy. It is significantly more expensive per unit than traditional cupping methods. But I think that the amount of options that you get with it, plus the red light therapy, make it competitive. If you want to see the website where they're at, if you just click down in the description box below, I will have this linked. Go check them out at least and just see what it's all about. Their website explains a little bit further and has like some really cool marketing drawings of skin being pulled with myofascial tissue and stuff being released. But that's been it for my review. I appreciate each and every single one of you guys that watch every week. And remember, when it comes to garage gyms, you should always keep it better, awesome, and of course, badass. I will see you guys next week.